In this video, we're going to be completing the creation of a two-sided thermal label using a reference number. So in the previous video, we created our shipping label, and now we're going to seal the deal here by finishing up with our packing slip. And we've already built the packing slip in another project, and what we want to do is bring it over and merge it so we can print it. So the first thing we want to do is we want to have all the same variables here on our packing slip form. And what we can do is if you see this collapse icon, we just select that here on the left-hand side of the variables. If we select the variables and left-click and then hit Control at the same time, and then we just drag them underneath the slip form and release, you'll see that we've copied all the variables over to our packing slip form. So that's a real easy shortcut, if you will, to get all the same information here on the packing slip. So we have that, and we can go ahead and just completely collapse this shipping label. We're not going to be using it in this video. So we've got all the same information, and this is important because we're going to be using a couple of these variables in the creation of some procedures, or actually one procedure. So let's go ahead and create this procedure. What we're going to be doing is we're going to be loading the data, and we're going to use what's called a load component, or load a component from a file. And so we're going to right-click the form, and I'm going to select Add Precondition Procedure. And near the bottom here, I'm going to select Load a Component. And we'll go ahead and just keep it as Procedure 1. That's fine. But I want to select the file name variable from the Use Variable dropdown and select OK. It's then going to ask me for a component name. We're just going to call it component. And we want to select file using the procedure variable, and that's because it's going to be using a file, and that file is the file name variable. So whatever variable you put in the procedure variable section, that was the file name variable, it's referencing that. So it's going to use that file name. And we'll go ahead and select OK. And we've got that, so we've got the load component. But what we want to do now is we want to add a condition onto this procedure, just to make sure that the file's actually there. And so we're going to right-click the procedure 1, select Add and Condition, and we're going to select is equal to. And if nth occurrence of variable file test is equal to yes, then we're going to we're going to load that component. So we've set up that condition there, and that's important. So we've got our procedure ready to go. Now is the fun part. Now we get to actually bring the project in. This procedure with the condition is going to bring in our data file. Now we're going to bring in the actual output from the packing slip project that was already built. So what we're going to do is we're going to right-click the packing slip form, and we're going to select Add Rule, and we are going to select way down here at the bottom, and you might not be able to see it, but it's at the very bottom here, Output from Project. And so we have Output from Project here. We're going to go ahead and just select the system variable NA, which is just kind of a placeholder, if you will, and select OK. And here is where we're going to bring in the project. We're going to keep this checked. This radio button input is from a component of a composite data file. We're not actually using a composite data file, but you do need to type in component here. And then we're going to select the project, and we can use the Browse button here. And the project we're going to be using is the packing slip project that you created for your packing slip. And I already have it here, this packing slip translate. I'm going to open that up. And so we've got all that. Let's go ahead and select OK. And there it is. You'll see that we have successfully brought in the packing slip. And there it is. So you can move it simply by adjusting the data offsets here, down here, just like we did earlier. And just to match it, we'll do 650. And that's right on. So we have our packing slip, we have our shipping label. All we have to do now is print it, and we have ourselves a successful two-sided thermal label. using a reference number.